Antenor was known as one of the wise elders of Troy, a nobleman whose voice often represented reason in the midst of war. He lived within the walls of the city and served as one of the trusted advisors of King Priam. Antenor was respected not only for his noble birth, but also for his experience in diplomacy. Ancient traditions describe him as a man who had travelled widely in his youth and had learned about the Greek world. Because of this knowledge, he understood the strength and determination of the Greeks better than most Trojans. Unlike many warriors around him, Antenor did not see war as a chance for glory, but as a disaster waiting to happen. Antenor became especially important at the beginning of the Trojan War because of the affair of Helen. When Paris brought Helen, the wife of the Spartan king Menelaus, to Troy, Antenor immediately understood the danger. In the royal council, he advised that Helen should be returned, and peace should be restored. He believed that no city should risk destruction for the sake of one woman. However, the sons of Priam, especially Paris and the warlike nobles, ignored his advice. Antenor's warnings later appeared as one of the last missed chances to save Troy from destruction. During the early years of the war, Antenor played an important diplomatic role. According to several traditions, Odysseus and Menelaus came to Troy as envoys to demand the return of Helen, and Antenor received them in his house. He listened carefully to their arguments and was impressed by their dignity and determination. Odysseus, in particular, was remembered for his calm and persuasive speech. When some Trojans suggested killing the Greek envoys, Antenor strongly opposed the idea and defended the sacred customs of diplomacy. This attitude helped shape his image as a statesman, rather than a warrior. As the long siege continued, darker stories began to surround Antenor's name. Some Greek writers claim that he secretly made an agreement with the Greeks. According to these traditions, Antenor and his family were spared when Troy was finally destroyed. While many noble families were killed or enslaved, Antenor's house was left untouched. Some stories even say that a special sign was placed on his door so that Greek soldiers would know not to harm the household. Because of this, later authors sometimes portrayed him as a man who indirectly contributed to the fall of Troy, although these claims belong more to legend than to history. After the destruction of Troy, different traditions describe the fate of Antenor. The most common story says that he survived and left Anatolia with his family and a group of Trojan followers. This migration was part of the wider scattering of the Trojan people after the city's fall. Antenor's ships first reached the coasts of Thrace, and from there he sailed toward the Adriatic Sea. This journey became part of the wider tradition that described how new peoples and cities were founded by Trojan refugees. In Roman historical tradition, Antenor became closely connected with northern Italy. According to these accounts, he reached the Adriatic region and joined the people known as the Eneti. Together with them, he is said to have founded the city of Padua. For this reason, an ancient monument in Padua was long believed to be the tomb of Antenor. In this tradition, he appears not simply as a survivor of Troy, but as the founder of a new community. His story became part of a larger legend describing how Trojan refugees spread across the Mediterranean world. The story of Antenor is often compared with that of Aeneas. While Aeneas was remembered as the ancestor of Rome, Antenor was associated with the peoples of the northern regions. Together, these figures symbolize the idea that the legacy of Troy continued far beyond the destroyed city. Unlike many heroes of the Trojan War, Antenor was not remembered for great battles but for wisdom and political judgment. While others were known for their swords, Antenor was remembered for his words. Ancient writers often described Antenor as an old man during the war. He appears among the Trojan elders who watched the Greek army from the city walls. In these scenes, he is portrayed as a man of memory and experience, who could recognize many Greek leaders by name. This knowledge reflects his position as a representative of the older generation of Trojan aristocracy. In later centuries, Antenor's name appeared again in foundation legends across Europe. Medieval chronicles sometimes claimed descent from him, turning Antenor into one of the mythic ancestors of several peoples. In this way, he became more than a Trojan nobleman. He became one of the legendary founders of European traditions. His story represented the idea that Troy's influence continued long after the city was gone,